everyone. Welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zersher, and today I want to discuss the creative process and creating anyway, because inevitably things go awry. So, for example, this past weekend I took Sunday as my day off. I had done a lot of work the previous 6 days so that I could have a clean, clear slate for Sunday. And I thought, well, I want to design something, but I wasn't sure what. And so I started to play. But immediately upon thinking this about designing something, a larger project, I felt fear. So I wanted to just talk about that because I don't think that that's so unusual. This is something familiar to me, so it doesn't stop me in my tracks, but I felt it and I noticed it and I kept going anyway. And I used my own advice, which I gave in a video I did on my crossover die cut machine, how to use it, as well as how to go about using the various shapes that one might cut out from that machine. Put just one element down, and that's it. Then that's been a good creative session. Sometimes it's good to just let go of all pressure and just say to oneself, I'm just going to do one thing. So I'm going to show you what I began. So the first thing I did was I pulled out a piece of fabric. It's about 12.5 inches by 16.5 inches. And then I started to think about what I wanted to do. And I have a bag that I love. Actually, I'm going to go show you that bag. This is a bag. I bought it probably 15 years ago, if not more. It's by Marnie, the designer. Leather. It's got a long strap so you can wear it sort of, across your body. But I love this bag and I love the simplicity of it. So using that as my inspiration, I came up with this. And this is all I've done so far. And today I'm hoping to whip stitch the larger circles down. And if I'm really ambitious and have time, I'll even whip stitch the smaller circles down. And then I may get out my sketchbook and start doing some sketches. This is not a complex design that I've come up with. However, it did take me some time to figure out the colors and to get the shapes that I wanted and the size circles. I knew I wanted the outer circles all the same size, but I wanted the inner ones to be different. I'm still not sure about the very small ones. I'm wondering if I should go actually bigger rather than smaller. But I'm going to play with that. I now have parameters. I have parameters in which to design something. I have a size, my background fabric chosen, and I have my larger circles chosen, and I have the colors chosen. And then what I do with the inner circles, whether I switch some of those smaller ones out and put in bigger ones, which I'm kind of thinking I probably will, that's another piece of this. And then once I do that, I can start thinking about how I'm going to stitch each of these circles. But on Sunday morning, when I felt that first initial pang of anxiety, I'll call it anxiety, if I'd allowed that to stop me in my tracks, or if I had decided, it's my day off and I think I'm going to wash the windows, which are really dirty and need to be washed, by the way. And this is a perfect day for me to do something like that. I could have done that, and this would not have gotten started. And I think the important thing is when I have a moment to just begin somewhere. and it doesn't matter where. So here is where I am. I've picked out my wool threads to whip stitch the larger circle down with, and I'm just going to start. I'm just going to start whip stitching the large circles down. I know that I like that element. I'm not sure about any of the other, but that's what I'm going to start with. I'll start here and then work my way across. One thing about the process of just starting from scratch and just creating something is that I think often there are voices that are in our head. I'll just speak about mine. So often what happens is I think I'm going to design something, and then I immediately start criticizing or telling myself why this is a bad idea. You're not doing anything particularly new. I don't know. There's a whole series of it's the inner critic voicing their dislike with the entire process. And if I listened to that, I would never do anything. It can say things, in the beginning it would be, you don't know how to do that, or you're not skilled enough to do that, or so-and-so does it better, or any number of things. And what's important is to acknowledge the voice. This is my method. I acknowledge the voice. I say, okay, I hear you. Because if I try to ignore it, it just gets louder. And it's like a petulant child who, starts stamping their feet and starts screaming. So I don't ignore it, but I also, it's a little like someone who's really annoying, who's just going on and on and on. If you ignore them, they can just keep going. But if you sort of smile and nod your head, sometimes that's enough, and then they sort of calm down a little. I think everyone just needs some acknowledgement. So I acknowledge the voice. I say, I hear you, but I'm gonna try this anyway. And then I just do it. And earlier I shot the video on my circle number, I think it's 39, and it just wasn't working. Everything I tried, I don't know, it just didn't seem like a good idea. I must have pulled out 4 different things that I thought, I'll try this, and no. And I'm not sure what it was exactly, but finally I just kept working, and I was able to come up with something that was okay. It was good enough. I didn't love it, but it was fine. And sometimes it's like that. Some days it's just okay. And it doesn't feel like the greatest thing in the world, but sometimes okay is enough. That's what I've learned, to be content with okay. If I hate it, then no, then that comes right out. Or I walk away and do something else for a little while and come back to it later. But this part, what I'm doing now, where I've actually made a choice, and, I chose my background fabric mostly because it was what I had. So there's your choice. And then found some circles because these were the ones I'd cut already. And I had a whole bag of pre-cut circles, and these were a few of them. One of the reasons I have these much smaller circles is because I didn't have the bigger circle. So I may decide, I need to find this wool, which I'm not sure I have, and cut a big circle from that if I can find it. And if I don't, I'll figure something else out. But the important thing in the end is just to do something and let it be okay, whatever it is. And when that critical voice comes in, you just, I say, okay, I hear you. Thank you for your feedback, and I'm going to do this anyway. But that can be very hard and uncomfortable to do. So I have my mango colored circle down, and I have my orange, and I'm going to hold off on this because I think a bigger one is better. And I'm starting my pink circle, and I really don't have much more time. So I'm going to just finish this one up, and then when I have time I'll come back to this, hopefully finish whip stitching the rest of the circles down. Maybe if I can find the right colors, I'll make the three larger inner circles and even whip stitch those down. And then I have to start designing the circles themselves. How am I going to embellish them? What stitches am I going to use? But I don't have to worry about any of that right now. That's going to be next time. So I hope this was helpful for those of you who are interested in designing your own things, or just watching someone else and maybe being inspired by that. Thanks so much for watching. I do hope that this was helpful in some way. Don't forget to hit the like button and do subscribe. Click on that little bell icon that's on the other side of on the right of the subscribe button. After you click on the subscribe button, a little bell will show up, and click on that. You'll get an email notification. It also helps me in my rankings on YouTube if you click that. I love hearing from you. Leave me any comments or questions you might have in the comments section. And don't forget to check out the description section. That's where I leave all kinds of other information that you might find interesting, as well as links to any of the things that I've used in this video. Until next time, here's to creating together.